Hi everyone. In this lab number 3.2, we are going to cover ephemeral access to the Postgres database. So we have to perform basically three different steps. So number one is adding a resource and establishing a trust. Second one is installing a DPA connector, which has already been done in the previous lab. And then we are going to define the access policies. So let's start with the step number one. So I'm going to go to the zero standing privileges. So we are going to add a resource. So I'm going to add a resource. So we're going to select Postgres database. I'm going to name it as a Raj Postgres database. So we are going to provide our database FKDN. We're going to paste it here. And then we have to provide the strong database account details. So here we have to go to our privilege cloud. So this is the account we onboarded. And then we have to provide our account name and a couple of other details. So your secret name is going to be your account name. And your safe is Raj Postgres. So again, you should have your own unique safe name. And so there is one additional step we have to do. So here we have to add this particular group into the safe membership. So what we are going to do, I'm going to go to the safes. So here, this is what my safe is. If I click on the members, so you can see I already added my secure infrastructure privilege cloud ephemeral access members. If I click on the manage permission, I provided read-only permissions. So once you provide, once you add this particular user or the group into the safe, then you have to provide your SSL certificate as well. This is the certificate we uploaded in our last lab, which was around the vaulted account access. So once you perform all these steps, so what we are going to do, we are going to click on onboard. So database has been onboarded successfully. So I'm going to delete so here, so everything looks okay. If I go to the strong accounts, so you will be able to see behind the scene, one of the strong account got created, but here you can see this account is vaulted in the privilege cloud. So we're going to go back to our introduction again. So this step has been performed. So now we are going to define a policy. So I'm going to choose database. I'm going to say Raj test policy. Again, you should be using your own name, as this lab is shared among multiple students. So here I'm going to say Raj Postgres database. Going to click next. Here I'm going to say test rule. So here you can see the Raj Postgres database. Here you can add your database roles if you have already defined. So in my case, I haven't defined anything. I'm going to leave it blank. And then in the members, I'm going to add myself into this particular policy. So here for the time frame, I'm going to select all day. Again, some of the customers I talk to, they want to provide an access only during the office hours only. So these options can be configured. We are going to click on create rule. I'm going to click on activate policy. So the policy has been created. If I click on refresh button, you can see the policy is done. So this is what we have showcased in the lab guide. So once you perform all the different steps, so then as a subsequent step, so we have to see how can user leverage upon the zero standing privileges. From a user standpoint, user has to go to the connection guidance page. User is going to click on a database. select the Postgres database. So here user has to select 0 standing privileges, and then we have to provide the database FQDN as well once it is provided. So we are going to leverage upon the host name and the username. So here, so for this particular video, we are going to use PGAdmin utility. Again, you can download the PGAdmin utility from the internet. So currently I'm leveraging upon the Mac machine, so I downloaded the PGAdmin for Mac. So here I'm going to say Postgres ZSP access. And then if I click on the parameter, we have to, for SSL mode, we have to make it required. For the connection timeout, you should keep at least 60 seconds because it takes around like 30-40 seconds for the connection to get established as we are creating a new user on the fly. So here we are going to copy the host name. And then we are going to copy the username details. So once it is done, so the last step, so for the password, I'm going to use MFA caching as an option, because if you use MFA caching, you don't have to go through the MFA authentication again and again. This short-lived token is valid for 2 hours. Again, it's a configurable option by your administrator. So now we are going to click on save. It will take a couple of seconds to get connected. It took 10 to 20 seconds to get connected. So we are connected on the Postgres database. So then you can open some of this information. So what I'm going to do, so we are going to run a query. In a query, so we are going to see, hey, which user we are using to get connected to the database. So I'm going to run this query. So you can see, so this is what my user is, Rajneesh Gar, and there is a random alphabet. So this is the user we created on the fly. And once the session expires, so we are going to go and remove this particular user from the database. So this is how the end user experience is going to look like. Again, end user can use whatever utility they want. So I tested personally with pgadmin, HiDSQL, or they can use any clients, whatever they prefer. So what we are going to do as a next step, I'm going to clear the password and I'm going to disconnect from the server. Then we are going to see from an auditor standpoint whether we can capture all the different queries run by the user. For this one, so we are going to click on these 9 dots. We are going to go to the CyberArk audit service. If I go to the audit service, so there we will be looking at the session monitoring tab. It takes a couple of seconds for all the events to be captured. So what I'll do, I'll pause this video and then we will come back after almost 1 minute. So it took a couple of seconds for the events to start appearing. If we open one of the sessions, so here you can see the session ID. You can see the target. So here you can see the user on target and the target DB and the database type. If you look at the commands, in the commands, so what all these PGAdmin tools and all these different utilities do, they try to connect to the database and try to fetch all the different information. So that's why you see there are multiple connections got opened. So let's click on one of the other session, but you can see from CyberArk standpoint, we don't keep on creating new users again and again. So we're trying to map the same user for the ongoing session. So this is the user, what we saw in the previous session as well. If I click on a commands, so you will be able to see this is the command we ran. almost like a couple of minutes back. So that's how from a user standpoint, from our data standpoint, we will be able to capture all the different commands ran by the user. So that's pretty much you guys have to do in the lab number 3.2. So yeah, so this is pretty much what you guys have to do from the lab number 3.2. And so we will continue with the next lab. So what you guys can do to save your AWS bill. So what you can do, you can terminate your database instance. So what I'm gonna do, I will simply delete this instance. And then in parallel, so what you can do, if you can go to your EC2 service, on the EC2 service also, so you can delete your DPA DB connector. So I'm gonna terminate this. So in the next lab, so we are going to cover our lab number 3.3, which is around zero standing privileges to EC2 instance. So thanks a lot, everyone, for watching this video.